Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's and City Managers Press Conference. We have a number of things to visit with you about. It's been a very long and busy weekend with the Memorial Holiday that everybody has participated in, and kind of want to acknowledge all of the events that took place across the city. Topeka is a very, I don't want to say patriotic city, but they really do embrace the idea of Memorial Day and Veterans Day and what they separately mean. Sometimes people get those confused of their purpose of each day. But Memorial Day really shines for Topeka, and they really take pride in remembering all those who have served and given the ultimate sacrifice to keep our country safe. So I want to thank all the civic organizations who put on the different events, and I hope that everybody had a safe and pleasant Memorial Day to get together and visit. And remember, that's the reason we have that day off, that it's not just a vacation day, that it's a day that we reserve to honor those who have served our country. So I want to thank them for that. I want to just a quick follow-up that also in the past, just this month, there was also a graduation of the most recent Leadership Greater Topeka class. And of course, they all claim this is the best class ever, because every time they have a graduating class, they take that distinction. It was a great event. It was a different event because it had a theme to it. Many of the viewers out there are probably familiar with the show of Bridgerton. So they did a lot of costume appearances, and it was quite an event. And with our friends out there at Prairie Band Casino, they have hosted that in the last couple, 3 years. And it's a great venue to have nearby in Topeka. I really think of them as being part of Topeka, and many of their employees feel the same way too. There are a lot of people who work at the casino who actually live in Topeka. So they're a good employer as well as a good entertainment attraction for our region. So I wanted to bring those couple of things up before we get a chance to visit with the city manager and have him talk a little bit about National Night Out and a couple of other events that he'd like to bring to our attention. City manager?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So as the mayor mentioned, we have a number of items or a number of events where we are trying to engage more with the community. Last Thursday, the Topeka Police Department hosted the PACT Community Policing Picnic. Essentially, we got together to chat about and serve as a kickoff for more community policing type engagement. We had a pretty good picnic at Little Oakland Park. Got to singe some of my arm hair on the hot dog grill, so that was fun. But it was good to meet with community members and bring police out and in a different setting, really just to help the community know that there's a lot of time our officers are just people and good to interact with, and again, with our push to have more community engagement, I thought it was a great event. Along the lines of community engagement, the mayor mentioned National Night Out. Within the last few weeks, we've discussed with City Council, with the city hosting National Night Out this year, having an event August 9th at the Agricultural Hall. And the hours will be 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Essentially, we'll have Touch a Truck, we'll have face painting for the kids. It's going to be a good time. In addition to that one event, we're also, we've hosted a couple of informational sessions on neighborhoods who want to host their individual neighborhood National Night Out events during that week as well. We have stipends available for the community to take advantage of that, and we're also looking for additional sponsors to help with those events. Along the lines of, again, community engagement and change our culture of property maintenance, Office of Inclusive Communities launched a Yard of the Month program. Essentially what we're looking for are examples of great yards, and we really want to highlight our neighbors who take pride in their yards, and so we launched that initiative last week. Again, if the community has any questions on either of those two events, either National Night Out or the Yard of the Month, they can reach out to our Director of Inclusive Communities, Monique Glade.
If I could add something, Dr. Perez, at the packed picnic that we had over in Oakland, in addition to the city manager burning most of the hot dogs, and most people like them that way, I guess, charred it seemed like. It was fun to have everybody there, but you know what impressed me the most is I saw a group or a population attend this that may have felt uncomfortable in the past because of communication issues. But this is to the credit of the police department as well. They had a number of officers there who were very, very interactive and fluently speaking in Spanish so that people felt comfortable there, and they would go in and out of Spanish and English, and they really seemed to be connecting in a way that is informal, it's relaxed, and people got to know them. They really took over the show with their little mini dog robot that they had out there doing all its little tricks and everything that really engaged the youth out there. But what I liked about it most is that it wasn't like we're here to present who we are. It was more of a, how you doing, who are you, how's things going? It was really a casual and informal meeting with the community, and that exchange of conversations in dual language, I think, is something that we need to acknowledge, because for a long time we didn't have that capability with the police department, but the numbers of officers who are bilingual has grown, and it really has made a difference in a lot of cases. So I appreciate that the participation by the department. They had a good turnout, and the citizens really seemed to have a good time. So I just wanted to add that in there, because sometimes if you didn't attend, you wouldn't have seen or known that aspect of that interaction between the community and the police department. The other thing that is important, like the city manager said, is that we're changing with the National Night Out and how it's been done in the past, so we're adapting, but we really try to still encourage those neighborhoods who are excited about hosting their own to reach out to Ms. Glade to find out what they can get in the way of support for them to host their own. But we really encourage people to come to the main event so that, again, you can have some interaction that you might not experience if you just stayed in your neighborhood. This way you'll get a mix and a gathering of people from across the neighborhood in the city. So that's important to really note. I think it's a good opportunity to change the whole idea of how we do National Night Out. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Dr. Perez. I have to acknowledge, again, that the firefighters won on the Battle of the Badges when it came to blood donations. I'm glad to see that by their participation in that with the police department, I think the expected number was hopefully around 42 units of blood, and Red Cross was able to collect 47 units of blood, including mine, along with others. It's a good community event to show up and see people here. I saw a couple of officers who showed up who said this was their first time ever. And I said, well, we need to get you on a regular basis so that we can go back and forth with that traveling trophy for the Battle of the Badges. So I'm glad that we were able to collect so many units. It's a good event. I know for myself, I give throughout the year, but I usually try to time it so when that Battle of the Blood Badges comes around, I'm available to give for that event. I think the city manager too has some construction updates that he'd like to, and some budget pieces that he'd like to touch on as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. So we continue to work through the budget process. We've reported some deficits that we're looking at for FY26 and FY27. We continue to work session to have work sessions with the council, and again over the next several months we'll be looking to get input both from the council and also from the public. We will host definitely some open meetings. The plan is to host some open meetings as we continue to work through the budget process, much like we've been doing with our CIP over the last several weeks during council. The plan is to develop a proposed budget by mid-July. for the council to consider. Obviously, we'll take the input from the governing body and from the public as we look to draft that document. And as far as construction, we are in the middle, although it doesn't look like it right now, we're in the middle of a major construction as far as our projects. We are seeking approvals and gaining approvals through the governing body on a number of our street projects. We posted the major projects online. We actually have maps that are out there that show where the major projects are going to be this year in the summer. So we just asked for the community's patience as we work through those projects. Obviously, we need to make those improvements. We are asked for those improvements, and when we make them, we know that it's an inconvenience to the public. But we just ask for continued patience as we work through those projects.
One of the things that I'd like to mention, I think it's been reported before, but I just want to kind of update. We talked about the Union Project here at 10th and Madison, and that housing project that's going up. I'm pleased to see that they're already pushing dirt and trees and everything else, and they've started that project with some, I don't want to say urgency, but there's some quick reaction once it was approved and moved through the governing body. They've really started to put some effort into that project. I think that'll make a big difference in helping us meet some of the shortfalls that we have in housing at different levels. I think it's going to have like 1, 2, and 3 bedroom apartments that are going to be available at different rates, and I think that will help us. I think it'll also, and I'm sure it will come about, that it'll bring a even bigger population to the downtown area, where we're trying to keep that revitalization to continue, and those residents will have an impact on the retail and the restaurants and all those other things that we're continuing to try to bring to downtown Topeka. Because if there's more population there, readily accessible, they'll be within walking distance of that, and some of the activities that we have, like at the Performing Arts Center or Evergy Plaza, all of that puts them in close relationship to a lot of the activities that we hope to continue to increase. So kudos to those people who are taking charge of that operation and moving forward with it. I think it's a great event. And speaking of which, Evergy Plaza, if you weren't there, you missed out on a great night at the Friday Nights 2.0. That was a great event. What I'm most proud of is that the numbers even increased this time around, I think. And it goes to show that there are fans in Topeka for the fight. But there also is an understanding that we can get together in that large of numbers and enjoy a common interest and not have any issues with that big of a crowd. Sometimes you get a big crowd together and you have to worry about security and safety and those kinds of things. I was down there, and I tell you, everybody was having a good time. They were really engaged in the fights. They were appreciative of the fighters who came from out of town as well. There were a number of Topeka fighters, and including our own John Cantrell, who won their matches. So it was important for us to support those who are in that boxing realm, where they're training here in Topeka and they're participating in these kinds of events. So it shows that we have a vitality in this community that is just waiting for opportunities for them to engage together and engage in a way that's helpful, supportive of all those food trucks that were down there. So it was a good event. I hope people had a chance to get down if they were interested in that. So that's something I wanted to bring up too, that's another event that, you look at the people who are attending, and it's a cross-section of the community, all the way from young to old, ethnicities, and it really is good to see everybody having a good time and enjoying a common interest. One thing I did attend just this morning before I came here was the ribbon cutting for the Kansas National Guard Joint Force Headquarters ceremony for the ribbon cutting. Senator Moran was there, several senators from the state legislature, and some House representatives as well from Kansas House of Representatives, there to acknowledge the importance of that joint headquarters construction. The governor gave a speech that really did bring together the the idea of how everything came together so this construction could be completed. And I talked with several of the servicemen there, and they are so proud to have that here in Topeka. And we talked about this, I think, a couple of press conferences ago, city manager, about the program for retention for military. Topeka continues to really reach out to the military and for those personnel who may be separating from the military, and we can keep them in Kansas, hopefully even keep them in Topeka more specifically, is to show them how appreciative we are of their presence and how they bring their skills to the civilian life here in Topeka. So to have that kind of brand new building, it's pretty impressive. To be here in our own city is really fortunate for us. So I thank our federal representatives and our state representatives who collaborated on this so it could be constructed in a timely manner. So I wanted to bring that up. Sometimes we lose track of what's going on out there at MTAA, but there's a lot going on, and they are connected to Topeka in many ways, and I think we need to acknowledge all the successes they're having out there. So I just wanted to bring that up. One other thing I just wanted to quick touch on is there is a committee called Corridors and Entryways. The chair of that is Kent Lammers. He's a local businessman, along with Chuck Engel, who's his partner. He's a retired attorney, but he still keeps involved with a lot of things. They were a driving force, along with Greater Topeka Partnership, to bring some recognition to the corridors and entryways here in Topeka. And they are reaching out and trying to get more and more input from the community about what they would like to see in their part of town, so that we don't focus just on one corridor or one entryway, so that everybody in Topeka, north, south, east, and west, gets an opportunity to get their interests represented in some way. The construction of any kind of entryway, buildings or statues or any of that kind of thing that would acknowledge those areas of the city needs to reflect the community. So I know that if you're interested and you have some ideas, that if you contact the Greater Topeka Partnership, they'll put you in contact with Mr. Lammers. I think they're going to hold some public meetings to get some input. So I know that there's some interest from the east side of Topeka and north Topeka as well, so that you can have your voice brought up so that it can be taken in consideration for what we move forward with. So I wanted to put that out there so that the public knows they are asked to be involved in this. So if you have some thoughts and ideas, get a hold of the Greater Topeka Partnership. And that's all I have for right now this morning. So unless the city manager has something, we'll sit for questions if you have some.
Always a topic of conversation, Mayor and City Manager. With Hotel Topeka, could we kind of just talk about where we are right now and where the city is with that?
Okay, I'll let the city manager address it, but I'll just quickly say that I'm very hopeful. I'm very excited about some of the developments that have happened. There are still things to be worked out and details to be worked out, a lot of things to take in consideration, but the city manager might want to give you a bit more details on that.
Yeah, I mean, as the mayor said, very hopeful. Definitely have some things to discuss with the governing body as potential options. As you've reported, we have multiple offers in hand, and so again, we'll just continue those discussions with the governing body and seek their guidance on a path moving forward.
What have some of those discussions looked like thus far?
A lot of it has just been going through the details that have been presented. Looking at, again, some negotiating points. But again, those discussions are more just, hey, there's been some questions on some of the proposals, and so getting feedback and then just getting back to the governing body with some of those details to determine next steps.
How close are we?
I think I told one of your colleagues, we're closer today than we were 6 months ago. I'm hopeful. That's the best way to say it. Again, our goal is to actually sell it this year. It's one of our strategic goals. And so I hope that we can stay on track for that.
Are you feeling the pressure every time you are they're asking for more money for upkeep? Each time the hundreds of thousands is just up on that. There's got to be that pressure out there from the community that, hey, let's get rid of this thing. Let's stop putting money. What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, for me, I mean, we have a contractual obligation, right, to maintain a certain fund balance for the hotel. So I think that as we move forward, I think that we're all weighing, what we're required to do with, those things that maybe we don't have to do. I mean, there's been some discussions on items that, it's something that we don't have to do, like a sidewalk repair or something like that. But again, keeping the operating balance is something contractually that we're required to do. So I think that with every decision, we're weighing pros and cons, and we're certainly cognizant of the sentiment as far as, hey, like, get this thing off our books as quickly as possible. We're very aware of that. So.
Yeah, and I think you look at it as an asset that the city has. And as an asset, you don't want it to deteriorate. You want to keep it in the best condition possible so that when there is the qualified buyer who comes by and is ready to make a purchase, it's in the best shape possible. It makes it attractive to a developer. And so we have to continue to do that, just like what you would do with your own home. You're not going to sell your home in the worst condition that it's in. You want to make it as pleasing and as aesthetically attractive to a potential developer. And there is a lot to be gained from the sale of that hotel in the way of benefits to the city. You have to look at how it brings in the additional conferences that sometimes we've lost out on because we just weren't ready. But that was a good, smart thing that the council did in making sure that they kept that hotel operating while we continued to move forward. There had been some suggestion, well, maybe we should close it for X amount of months and then reopen it. I think that would have been a huge stumbling block. So I think it was a smart thing that the council all agreed that we needed to keep it open and running so it's in its best shape possible when we have those opportunities to sell the hotel.
It's been, since we met last, we've had our second officer-involved shooting. Can you talk about what conversations you might have had with the police chief after the latest one, and do you feel comfortable that the way things are being run there are the way it should be, and you're not concerned about these shootings?
Well, I'll let the city manager speak to that first because he is the top man and he works with the chief of police. I try to keep myself at arm's length because you don't want to interject yourself where that chain of command is, and I'm sure that I know the city manager has spoken with chief of police, but when I have talked with him on occasions, I'm confident that we are doing the things that we need to do, but I'll let the city manager go into any more detail he may want to give.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'm confident in the way that things are being run in TPD. Shortly thereafter, the incident occurred. There was notification to myself, to the governing body. 2 o'clock in the morning, those notifications were going out. The Chief Vallejo, I believe, held a press conference at 5 a.m. That morning. So, I think as far as transparency and as far as how things are being run, absolutely, I have full confidence in the chief and TPD. And then on top of it, too, I will also mention as far as when we had that point, when we knew that nobody had been injured, Chief Vallejo still made the call to bring in KBI as an independent third party to help us review the details. And so, again, very, very confident in Chief Vallejo and TPD and the response of the officers that evening.
From the EPA, we also know the city is receiving a $500,000 grant for like cleanups and whatnot at the former White Lakes Mall and 2 former schools. Why did the city apply for that grant?
So the EPA grant, is that the one for White Lakes or was it for, okay. Okay, so typically, whenever we apply for EPA grants, there's opportunities for us to leverage outside dollars, understanding where we're at budget-wise. We're looking for opportunities to leverage any outside dollars that we can for any of our services. Specifically to that, I'd have to ask staff, what the vision is for that. Anytime we can leverage outside dollars, we're gonna do that.
So do we know what type of cleanup yet, or what that looks like?
I'd have to get details from the staff, and we can follow up with you. Yeah.
Any other questions?
You guys mentioned a couple times ago a couple things you guys were thinking about for the budget that you guys will have in July. Is there any updates? Any like, are you guys still going to be on a hiring freeze? What are you guys thinking?
So I will tell you that we've come back and we've chatted about the hiring freeze and it being more of a, hey, we're really scrutinizing the positions that we hire. I can tell you from a public safety perspective, we're moving forward, I think, with 20 officers in the next academy. We're looking at opportunities, again, to have existing staff absorb duties of positions that have been recently vacated. And I mean, those are all things, again, that we'll be looking at as a combination as we look to develop the proposed budget.
Okay. Well, thank you for your attention and for being here today. And have a great day and the rest of the week. Thank you for being here.
Thank y'all.